It's the wonderful quality to be able to change, you see. So if we look at alphabets, this is some Stemple foundry type and old wooden type, Fry's ornament. I mean, some really lovely old typefaces.
Beautiful.
That if one simply blows on the leaves, I know that sounds very strange, what you get instead are harlequins. You see, there are no alphabets, you just get harlequins. And if you blow very carefully again, you see the origin of all books, the tabula rasa, the blank sheet from which inspiration takes place, because that's really all it is, a book of blank pages. This is probably the greatest collection of early English language magic books in the world. There are a number of them which are unique. For instance, this, which is the earliest of the books, Thomas Hill's brief treatise entitled Natural and Artificial Conclusions from 1581. They have the first major work on magic here, which is Scott's Discovery of Witchcraft from 1584, which is really the seminal text in the English language dealing with conjuring. Never called magicians, by the way, called jugglers until the 18th century at least. Let's see. That's the, well, I guess again, where is, here we go. This is, in many ways, the sexiest book in this collection. This is Hocus Pocus Jr., the first edition from 1634. I imagine many of the people who would watch this would wonder why this was sexy on any level, but it's incredibly sought after. There are 4 known copies of this first edition, which went through many, many editions, and it really is the first illustrated book devoted solely to conjuring. This is an illustration for the cups and balls. This is a wonderful old effect called the cap and pence, and it appears in print for the first time in this book. And the patter of it actually involves a patron of a bar doing this and saying if he's successful, he would like the services of a woman of negotiable affections for the evening. And he is successful. So perhaps that's why it's the sexiest of these early books. There really are treasures and secrets to be found in these old volumes, and there's a practical current application that can come from them.
Coming back to, say, a piece that you do, one of the many pieces you do, say cups and balls, can you trace the history of that? Did you find the history of that here in this library?
Well, yes. I mean, one can say that, although, you know, there are written accounts of it that go as Seneca wrote about the cups and balls, for instance, being fooled by a setabulary, by Roman conjurers using stones and cups. And there are accounts which may precede that. But in this library, yeah, we have the accounts in Scott's Discovery, the wonderful illustrations in Hocus Pocus Jr. So not only do I use them in historical performance for technique, but even some of the patter literally coming from these books specifically and